What if confidence was never about being fearless? What if it was never about being the loudest person in the room, or the most polished, or the one who never doubts themselves? What if everything you were ever taught about confidence was pointing you in completely the wrong direction? Carl Jung studied the human psyche for over 50 years. He sat with the most broken, the most lost, the most deeply wounded people of his time. And what he discovered about confidence, real, lasting, unshakable confidence, was not what anyone expected. He found that confidence does not come from getting rid of your doubts. It does not come from forcing yourself to feel strong. It does not come from positive affirmations repeated in front of a mirror while you're still secretly terrified. It comes from 6 specific behaviors, 6 concrete, repeatable actions that gradually rebuild your relationship with yourself from the inside out. Not performance, not pretending, not faking it until you make it. Real confidence. The kind that doesn't collapse when someone criticizes you. The kind that doesn't disappear when a situation doesn't go your way. The kind that stays with you even when you're alone and no one is watching. Stay with me until the end, because behavior number 5 is the one Jung considered the most counterintuitive and the most transformative of all. The first behavior Jung identified as essential to genuine confidence sounds almost too simple. Stop explaining yourself to people who haven't earned the right to understand you. Now, before you dismiss this, think about how much energy you spend justifying your choices, your decisions, your boundaries, the way you live your life. How many conversations have you had where you didn't need to explain yourself at all, but you did anyway? Jung connected this pattern directly to what he called the persona, the mask we build to be acceptable to others. When we over-explain, we are essentially saying, "My choices need your approval before they are valid. Your opinion of my life has authority over my own sense of what is right for me." Genuinely confident people do not operate this way, not because they are arrogant, but because they have developed what Jung called a stable inner authority, an internal sense of rightness that doesn't require constant external validation to stay standing. Here is the exact practice for this behavior. This week, notice every time you feel the urge to over-explain a decision you've made. Before you speak, pause and ask yourself, honestly, does this person genuinely need this explanation? Or am I explaining because their disapproval feels threatening? If the honest answer is the second one, try something radical. Give a shorter answer than you normally would. "This is what works for me" is a complete sentence. "I've decided to do it this way" needs no defense. Each time you do this, you send a signal to your own nervous system, "My choices are valid without a jury." Over time, that signal builds something no external validation ever can: real, inner authority. The second behavior goes deeper than most confidence advice ever dares to go. Make peace with the parts of yourself you're most ashamed of. Jung's concept of the shadow, the hidden, rejected parts of our personality, is one of the most important discoveries in the history of psychology, and its connection to confidence is direct and undeniable. Here is what most people don't understand. The energy you spend hiding your flaws, managing your image, making sure no one sees the parts of you that you're ashamed of, that energy is enormous. It is exhausting, and it is the single biggest drain on your natural confidence that exists. When you are constantly working to hide something, you can never fully relax into yourself. There is always a low-level vigilance, a guarding, a background hum of "what if they find out?" Here is the exact shadow work practice for confidence. Write down one thing about yourself that you genuinely hope no one ever discovers. Don't share it with anyone. Just write it down, privately, for yourself. Unquote. Now write this sentence directly below it. This is a part of me. I am more than this. And this is still part of me. That simple act of acknowledgement begins dissolving the shame around it. Jung said, shame only has power in the dark. The moment you look directly at something, even just on paper, even just for yourself, it begins to lose its grip on your energy. And when you are no longer spending enormous resources hiding from yourself, that energy becomes available for something else entirely. It becomes presence. It becomes ease. It becomes the quiet, unshakable quality that confident people carry without ever being able to explain where it came from. The third behavior is one that confident people practice so naturally, they barely notice they're doing it, and people who struggle with confidence almost never do. They honor their own reactions before anyone else's. Think about the last time something upset you and someone told you that you were overreacting, or the last time you felt deeply uncomfortable in a situation and talked yourself out of it because it seemed unreasonable, or the last time your gut said no and you said yes anyway because you didn't trust your own signal. Jung believed that every emotional reaction, even the ones that seem disproportionate, even the ones that don't make immediate logical sense, contains real information. Your psyche is not irrational. It is operating on a level of pattern recognition that your conscious mind cannot fully access. Here is the exact practice for this behavior. The next time you have a strong emotional reaction, before you explain it away, before you apologize for it, before you convince yourself you're being too sensitive, write down exactly what you felt in the moment, before any analysis, just the feeling, just the reaction, raw and unedited. Then sit with it for 10 minutes before you decide what to do with it. You don't have to act on every emotion, but you do have to hear it first. Jung said, the first step in building a trustworthy relationship with yourself is treating your own inner experience as worth taking seriously. Every time you dismiss your reactions without giving them a fair hearing, you send a message to yourself. My experience is not reliable. My feelings need external permission to be valid. And that message, repeated enough times, quietly dismantles confidence from the inside. The fourth behavior is where most people stop following confidence advice because it requires something that no one particularly enjoys. Deliberately choosing discomfort, regularly, on purpose. Jung wrote about the importance of what he called confronting the unknown, choosing to enter experiences that feel uncertain, rather than always staying within the safe perimeter of what you already know you can handle. Here is the psychological truth behind this. Confidence is not built in comfort zones. It is built in the evidence you collect by moving through difficulty and discovering that you survived, that you adapted, that you were capable of more than you thought. Every time you avoid something because it might be uncomfortable, you send a subtle message to yourself. I cannot handle this. I need to be protected from this. And that message, accumulated over years, creates a very small inner world, a world where confidence has almost nowhere to grow. Here is the exact practice for this behavior. Identify one thing you have been avoiding specifically because it makes you uncomfortable, not dangerous, uncomfortable. One conversation you've been putting off, one situation you've been steering around, one small risk you've been rationalizing away. Schedule it this week, not someday, this week. And when you do it, when you get to the other side of it, notice what is waiting for you there. Not necessarily success, not necessarily a perfect outcome, but evidence. Evidence that you can move through discomfort and come out intact. Jung said that every time we face something we feared and survive it, we expand our sense of what we are capable of. And that expansion, repeated deliberately over time, is the architecture of genuine confidence. This is the behavior Jung considered the most counterintuitive and the most powerful. Grieve what you needed and never received. Most confidence advice tells you to focus forward, build new habits, take new actions, reframe your thinking, and all of that has genuine value. But Jung observed something in person after person after person, that beneath the lack of confidence, almost without exception, was a grief that had never been allowed to be expressed. The love that wasn't there when you needed it. The validation you worked your whole life for from someone who could never give it. The safety you deserved as someone finding their way in the world and never fully had. These losses, when they go unmourned, create a permanent background hunger, a reaching outward for something that was supposed to come from somewhere specific and didn't. And when that hunger goes unnamed, it drives behavior in ways that consistently undermine confidence, people-pleasing, over-explaining, seeking approval, avoiding situations that might lead to rejection. Here is the exact practice for this behavior. Write a letter, not to send, just to write. Address it to whoever you needed something from that you never fully received. And in that letter, simply name what you needed. Not with anger necessarily, just with honesty, just with clarity. I needed you to believe in me. I needed you to be consistent. I needed you to tell me I was enough. Then write one final sentence in that letter. I am going to give myself what I needed from you. Jung believed that the moment you stop outsourcing your fundamental needs to the person who was supposed to meet them and begin meeting those needs yourself, consciously, deliberately, something fundamental shifts in your psychology. The reaching outward begins to quiet. And in that quiet, genuine confidence finally has room to take root. The sixth and final behavior is perhaps the simplest of all, and yet, in a world of constant distraction, it may also be the most radical. Practice conscious presence with yourself. You with yourself. Jung was a fierce advocate for what he called solitude, with intention, regular, deliberate time spent alone, not to escape the world, but to return to yourself. To hear your own thoughts without the noise of other people's opinions, expectations, and needs constantly filling the space. Most people are rarely alone with themselves in any real sense. They are physically alone, but digitally surrounded. Their own inner voice is perpetually drowned out by external input. Here is the exact practice for this final behavior. Set aside 10 minutes today. No phone, no music, no input of any kind. Sit somewhere quiet and simply be present with whatever arises, whatever thoughts, whatever feelings, whatever questions surface. Don't try to fix or analyze what comes up. Just be with it. Jung said that a person who cannot tolerate their own company cannot have a stable relationship with themselves. And a stable relationship with yourself is the foundation of everything else we have covered today. When you can sit quietly in your own presence without immediately reaching for distraction, that is a profound sign that you have begun to trust yourself. And trust in yourself is the truest definition of confidence that Carl Jung ever offered. Before you go, I want you to take one thing from today's video into your actual life. Not all 6 behaviors at once, just one. Look back over what we covered: stopping over-explanation, shadow work, honoring your reactions, choosing discomfort, grieving what you needed, and practicing presence. And ask yourself, which one feels most relevant to where you are right now? That is your starting point. Share it in the comments if you'd like. Which behavior are you starting with? Because I genuinely believe That one honest comment below, naming where you're beginning, is itself an act of the confidence we've been building toward today. Subscribe to the Inner Persona for weekly explorations of psychology, healing, and genuine self-understanding through the complete wisdom of Carl Jung. Because confidence was never about becoming someone different. It was always about finally becoming fully, honestly, unapologetically yourself.